Hey, I'm Josh Little, and welcome back to Business Ideation 101. Today, we're going to talk about solutions. In the last session, we talked about finding painful problems that lead to killer business ideas. Today, we're going to talk about how to solve those problems and ideate multiple solutions to each problem. But first, what do you think about my new look? I don't know. I'm getting used to it myself, so hopefully you do too. All right, let's go. Introducing the Solution Quadrant. Yes, ooh, how magnificent. All solutions are either physical or digital products or services. Physical, made of atoms. Digital, made of bits. Products solve problems with an object or a device. Services solve problems with human effort. And all solutions can kind of fit in this quadrant. And there are advantages to each. Service companies are easy to start. That's their big benefit. Because the product is you can start a service company today if you wanted to. You could charge someone to mow their lawn or teach them voice lessons. And that's beautiful. And because they're easy to start, they tend to be fast to revenue. And people generally will pay more for a service than they will for a product. So service companies have a bunch of advantages. And while product companies aren't easy to start because you have to make the product to sell, they tend to lead to bigger outcomes. That's the big advantage because typically that comes along with intellectual property that's involved, or they have a higher barrier to entry, so it's harder to compete with a physical product. So they tend to have bigger outcomes, bigger exits, larger revenue potential. Now, physical products or services have the benefit of a higher willingness to pay. People buy things, not software. If you're anything like me, you'll spend an hour trying to find a way to not have to pay $5 for an app. Even though I have built multiple software companies, I should totally be willing to pay for an app, but I just don't. It's human psychology. And yet I will spend $200 mindlessly on Amazon and not even think about it. So physical products tend to have a higher willingness to pay. People are willing to pay more for a thing. And while digital products don't have the willingness to pay as a physical product, they make up for it in scalability. It's really hard to make 1 million jars of pickles, but it's really easy to make 1 million new user accounts to a software product you've created. Now, there's no right or wrong to any of these. It's really what's right for you in your journey and what benefits do you want? What advantages do you want in building your business? Now, with the benefits of each of these quadrants, let's think about examples for each of these. So a hammer is a really good example of a physical product. And what would be a physical service? Lawn mowing. That would be a really good example of a physical service. You show up with yourself and your equipment and you mow someone's lawn. How about a digital service? Online tutoring. That would be a good example of a digital service. You are doing the work and you're doing that over Zoom or over a call digitally. Ebook would be a good example of a digital product, something that you pay for, you own, you can make 1 million copies of it, and it doesn't cost you any more than making the first copy of it. Now, not just in the corners, also there are examples on each of these lines and intersections. So a Tesla would be a good example of a product that has both physical and digital components, right? And a DoorDash would be a good example of a service that has both physical and digital components. So physical, a human needs to go pick up this food that you've ordered on this app, which is digital, right? A gym would be a good example of a physical product and service. So the physical would be the gym, the location, the brick and mortar, the equipment. The service would be the monthly membership that you pay to be a member of that gym. And Spotify would be a good example of a digital product and service. The product is the software, the music that you're listening to. The service would be the subscription that you pay each month to have access to that. Now, can you think of an example that would fit squarely in the middle of this quadrant that has all physical, digital product and service attributes? The iPhone. The iPhone is a physical and digital product that you pay a subscription to use each month. So again, there's no right or wrong or this is better than the other. It's really what do you want out of this business and what advantages. And we'll get way deeper into that in the next 2 videos. But this is enough to make you dangerous and start thinking about solutions. A couple other tools I want to give you here. Let's talk about service companies. There's really 3 levels of service you can think about a service company. First would be done for you. Lawn mowing would be a good example of a done for you service. Is a white glove service, something you don't even have to think about. All you have to do is pay some money and something happens for you. So lawn mowing, a good example. The next level of service would be done with you. This would be you are working with someone else. A personal trainer would be a good example of this. Personal trainer is a done with you sort of service. And then the third would be DIY, where we're not doing it for you now, we're doing it with you. We're giving you the resources or the education that you need to do it yourself. A YouTube video on how to work out would be an example of a DIY service. The next tool I want to introduce is wave a magic wand. We introduced this idea in video 1, but this is the right question to start asking when you start to think about solutions. That's a painful problem. What if you could wave a magic wand and what would that solution even look like? That tends to get you into the right frame of mind to start thinking about the most powerful solutions that you can conjure. And we're going to develop multiple solutions for each problem here. So whether you're doing this on a piece of paper or in a spreadsheet, on a piece of paper, you're just going to kind of mind map around each problem. On a spreadsheet, you're just going to create multiple rows, multiple solutions for each problem. And you're going to describe each solution in as much detail as possible. And I want you to think about 2 things. One is what I call bonus. Like, what is your unique competitive advantage if you were to proceed with this solution? What do you bring to the table? Or what resources or co-founders or cheat codes do you have that would make this particularly interesting? The second is roadblocks. What challenging obstacle or problem would we need to tackle if we were to proceed with a solution? Is it a new discovery in physics that no, that probably not, hopefully not. But I would need to find, a plastic surgeon to co-found this with me if we were going to proceed this direction, or we would need to be able to solve create a unique video algorithm that parsed videos and allowed, transcribing and processing on the fly or something like that. Like an interesting thing that we'd have to solve, just as a note to you in the future if you proceed with this one. So think solution, description, bonus, and roadblocks. Let's talk about examples. And I want to do 3 examples here. So we're going to use a problem as an example, and then we're going to just ideate potential solutions together so you can see how this might work. Now, you can use this solution quadrant. You don't have to, but for the sake of demonstration, I think it's helpful to kind of think about the solution. Okay, back to this problem. I'm overweight, and it seems like no matter what I do, I can't seem to keep the weight off. Okay, this is a common problem. Many people face this. This is a good first example. So let's go to our solution quadrant here. How could you solve this problem? If you could wave a magic wand and solve this problem for someone, what would be the ultimate solution? Well, I would wake up skinny. Okay. Liposuction. Okay, that's interesting. That's we could solve it with liposuction, right? Well, yes, but then this is where I'd need a plastic surgeon to co-found this company with me. Okay, that's one solution. Let's start thinking of other solutions. Maybe a personal trainer. We could create a personal trainer service. All right, that's another good solution. Write that one down. What about a supplement? A supplement that either helped you help increase your metabolism, or a supplement that helps you not feel hungry. That's a good solution. Start thinking about that solution, your unique bonus or roadblocks. What's another solution we could think of? Fitness videos. We could create a whole series of videos that showed people how to work out. Trainer is an example of done with you. Liposuction is an example of done for you. Fitness videos are an example of DIY. So you kind of see how that service level breakdown. And you can start thinking about different service levels and fill this list on the right of services that you would create. Okay, let's put other solutions potentially on this list. An ebook. We could write a book and put it on Audible or Kindle and teach people how to manage their weight. Good. We could do meal delivery. Okay, so after you ask the 5 whys of this problem and you figured out that It's really just choosing the right foods. We could create a meal delivery service and deliver exactly the meals that they should be eating to achieve their goals each day. A gym. This came in from the examples. A gym is a physical product and service that could help someone solve this if they were motivated. We could create a calorie tracker, which is a digital product and service that you would pay for each month. We could create something like a Peloton, a piece of exercise equipment that had both a physical and digital aspect to it, that immersed people in an experience that was addictive and created all of the right behaviors to help them lose weight. Or we could create a wearable that somebody wore, and it could tell exactly how many calories they were consuming and would give them warnings when they consumed too many calories. You can see where I'm going here. These are maybe not that great of solutions, but these are examples of how you would ideate multiple solutions to each problem. I think I promised in the first video, you may end up with hundreds of business ideas. This is how you do it. If you had 50 problems that you're looking to solve from that first round, now 50 problems times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 solutions. You got a lot of potential business ideas here. Not all of them are going to be great. I'll show you how to pare them down in a moment. But your job, first and foremost, wave a magic wand. What would be the ideal solution? If we could create any solution to this problem, what would be the ideal solution? Again, you can map it on this solution quadrant, but you don't have to. All right, let's go on to another example. Okay, the problem is, no matter how much I explain it to them, my patients have a hard time remembering their recovery protocol after surgery. Okay, so this is a doctor, a surgeon who has this problem. They have to say the same things over and over to their patient, and they know that they're only going to remember 10%, and if they don't, there's potentially complications, or the recovery won't go as well, the patient won't feel as confident. It's a painful problem, it seems, right? That how do you, especially with a complex surgery like a total knee replacement or a spine surgery, because that protocol might last 6 months, a year that they're recovering from this. But all of that hinges on a conversation and maybe a piece of paper that they handed them. Okay, so how would we solve this problem? What are some potential solutions we could think of? Okay, so I tend to go upper right in this quadrant first. I think of the service that would command the highest price point, because I think those tend to be the easiest businesses to build. And for first-time founders or someone who's new to entrepreneurship, they're probably the best vehicle for you to start a business. So in home care, we could create a service that someone would show up at their house every day and re-explain it to them, put the medicine in their mouth. I don't know what that is, but just in-home care, a way to check in with those patients each day and just make sure they were getting the best results from their recovery. And this is an important thing. It's a new knee. You're going to have to really take care of it. And maybe that conversation from the doc wasn't enough for you to know all the things that you will need to do each day as you're going. Okay, another solution, digital service. We could create some recovery videos. What if we just had the perfect set of videos for total knee replacement recovery, and we just put them on YouTube, and we just make ad revenue for it? Or we create an e-commerce website and we charge a subscription, which would be a different part of this quadrant, right? Again, here comes ebook again. Well, we could write the book and teach people, what to expect when you're expecting a total knee replacement, or something like that. We could create a physical calendar, which just showed them based on their surgery date, here's what needs to happen each week. Here's what you need to think about, and help them plan and visualize their recovery. We could call them daily, and just make sure they were doing it, which, would be somewhere between a physical and digital service. Again, it takes a human to do this. Physical, digital, we're going to use technology to call them. Another would be an example of a digital product and service would be, we're going to create a patient success automation system, kind of like a marketing automation system, but for patients. So a surgeon could develop a protocol and have like the perfect touch points of like text messages and emails coming out over time, and allow a patient to, recover better and faster through the use of technology and AI. That's a good solution. We could do that. So you start to see, you don't have to fill in all corners of this or every line or intersection. Again, the quadrant really doesn't matter. It just gets you into problem solving space. Wave a magic wand. what would the ultimate solution to this problem look like? We've thought of some. I'm guessing you're already thinking of others that fit in different quadrants here. All right, let's move on to problem 3. Pool maintenance is hard, especially keeping chemicals balanced. This is a problem I struggle with. Cleaning the pool, like actually physically cleaning, that's kind of solved with pool robots and skimmers. Like my pool's pretty much always clean, free of debris. But chemicals, that's really hard, because when do you want to check the chemicals of your pool? It's when you're in the pool, which is not when you can put the chemicals in it. You don't think about it other than the times that you're swimming. So this is kind of a challenging problem. And not only do you need to check the chemicals, you need to have the right chemicals in stock, and then you need to sort of be a mild chemist to really understand what's going on in your pool and what chemicals you need to add and why. It's not just a couple of things. Pool's a pretty complex system. Okay, let's go to our solution quadrant. How could we solve this problem? All right, first is the obvious. We create a service called Pool Boy, which is just like the age-old service of pool maintenance, where somebody comes up, cleans your pool, checks your chemicals, and leaves. This is actually a pretty good service company idea. Interviewing all of my friends and neighbors who have pools, nobody's happy with their pool maintenance service. So, this would be a good solution, and people would be willing to pay. I know my neighbors are paying like $50 to $100 a month for someone to show up for 5 minutes and do what they could do, but don't want to do. And they're happy to pay the money to do it. All right, how else could we solve this problem? All right, we create a series of pool maintenance videos. We put them on YouTube, or we create the pool university for new pool owners. So that's an example of a digital service. How about a reminder app? So if the problem is really that you forget to check the chemicals until you're in the pool, what if we just create a reminder app that would just prompt you twice a week to go check your chemicals? And you'll let us know if you checked them and what you put in, and based on that we can predict probably when you'll need to check them again and what you'll need to check. Okay, maybe interesting. What about a chemical delivery service? Okay, so if the problem is that you don't have the chemicals in stock, what if we just deliver the chemicals to your home, and based on the stock that you have, we can determine what your next order is, or something like that. Example of a physical digital service. How about a monitor? What if there was a digital monitor that could float in your pool and tell you on an app exactly what chemicals were low and what you should add? Okay, that's good. But I would still need to be reminders. Oh, and it has reminders. All right, we're getting better. Good. Poolio. Oh, interesting. What about a product that you didn't even have to think about, a physical digital product service that you didn't even have to think about? It uses the monitor idea. We have a monitor that sits in your pool that determines your chemicals. Yeah, you could look at the app, but you don't even need to. What's going to be awesome is we're going to combine the monitor and chemical delivery together, and we're just going to ship you a bag of white powder each week, which is exactly what your pool needs. You don't even have to open the package. Anyone in your family that picks it up from the front door can just open the top, dump it in the pool, and that's it. Man, this is as close to a magic wand solution as I can think of for pool maintenance. Yeah, I'm feeling good about that. So again, put these on your sheet. You don't have to list everything. You don't have to write roadblocks or bonus for everything. Just the things that you think would actually be solutions that you would run forward. The point here is that you're just in the mind space of ideating multiple solutions to each problem. As many as you can, maybe half of them, or not even half of them, make it to your list. Doesn't matter. You're just now in business ideation. You're an entrepreneur, and your job is to ideate the best possible solutions you can to each problem. All right, now I said only 3 examples. Let's do a 4th example. Let's say we talk to a product manager. Meetings are time consuming. My schedule is just full of meetings, but my other option is text communication, email or chat, and that is just lacking. I can't say much. It takes me forever to type a message. Okay, so what are potential solutions here? Volley. What about a video messaging app? No, I'm just kidding. I've already tried to solve this problem. It's not as painful as y'all say it is. So we're going to move on. So even though you go through this, you may still find, false positives on problems or solutions. But that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. So now you have a problem and a solution. Well, reach your hand up, bend it, pat yourself on the back. You now have a business idea. All you have to do now is give that idea a proper name. And again, you don't have to take all of your solutions and put them in your list or your spreadsheet, but you can. And so take all of your solutions that you want to move forward, give them a cool name. Now, I'm not talking about what the business or the product name is, but you could think about that, or just give them a temporary project name that might be fun that helps you think about this, because we're going to use those names in the next round. And then the next thing I want you to do is rank. Just 2 simple criteria. How much do you like this idea? How much does it excite you? How much passion is there? How much do you see yourself in this idea? That's number 1. Rank that 1 to 10. The next is, how likely are you to be successful with this idea? Does this feel like a game that you could win? If so, rank it high. Again, 1 to 10. Or does this feel like, wow, this would be a great solution, but we would have to, do X, Y, and Z. It just feels like a game that I'm probably not going to be able to win. And it's probably a product that Google or Apple should build someday, right? So that's probably ranked lower. So you're gonna give these a ranking of each of these 1 to 10, and then you're gonna multiply those 2 numbers together. And then you're gonna sort your spreadsheet from highest to lowest, and you're gonna take the next 15 to 20 ideas to the next round. Again, I know this feels brutal that you've got so many solutions that you've thought about, so many ideas that you've thought about, only 15 or 20. Yeah, because the rest of that list, you can always go back to it if you get through the first 15 or 20, and we're going to pare it down even further in the next round. I really want you to end up here with like 10 really solid ideas that you are stoked about, that you just can see yourself in the problem. You could win this game. And now it's a matter of choosing which one, which we're going to talk about in future videos. So all of this is part of an ideation course that I'm developing that will have not just lessons, but also workshops and examples and a workbook and a spreadsheet for you to work through for yourself. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below. And we'll see you in the next video, which is all about how to turn your already good ideas into insanely great ideas.